We misvalue the things that count. That's what I'm saying. We misvalue the industry that you are in. The idea you could have 7,000 people on Canadian soil dealing with one of the preeminent, most necessary industries of modern civilization. And it could be passed by even the most secondary politicians. The idea that in this country, which we inherited on the labors of those people in the primary industries over the generations. And that the very industries that helped us to build Canada are now the only ones under a microscope, that have no friends, that the policies work to repress. They're going to explode Alberta if someone doesn't wake up soon. Or even introducing stresses into the political dynamic of the country because we don't appreciate what's right straight in front of our eyes. Primary industries respond to primary human needs. Employment is a tremendous gift. It is so much more than the people in government seem to understand. The appreciation for it is deserted. Thirdly, the resource, the education and the technological resource that are called into play by your modern industry and the others. This is one of the great boasts of Canada, and yet it gets so little attention. The slightest element of criticism on any major natural resource industry will get blown across the waves. You are under intense microscopic scrutiny. I remember those damn ducks that landed in some pond up in Fort McMurray. They had all of North America before them. They had GPS given them by nature. And they searched and searched over vast millions of square miles to find the one place they couldn't land. And it became the story of the year. If anyone brings up those ducks, I have words for them. I'll wrap it up. I'm getting the hook. I want to end it up on a small little yarn because I've been more serious than I normally am. And it's a little story I like to tell. It has nothing to do with what I just said. It's about when, in 1997, we invited Queen Elizabeth to come over and celebrate 500 years that Newfoundland had been a colony, and the fact that John Cabot in 1497 headed off for Peking or Beijing and ended up in Bonavista, which is a maritime area of some considerable scope. Even in 1497, it's not too easy to mistake Beijing for Bonavista. And Bonavista didn't have a Chinese restaurant until 1987. Anyway, I'm going to make it short because I know I'm late. She came over, this is true, she really did. It was a big deal. She ended up in Bonavista. We had rain, sleet, snow, fog. You couldn't see her. Really, you had the camera crews everywhere. No one could see her. So very quickly they improvised. They took her into St. John's and they said, we'll bring her indoors. And they brought her to a biscuit factory, which is well known in Newfoundland, Purity Biscuits. So they brought her into this biscuit factory. And they had the television cameras there and everyone could see her. And she was in Purity Biscuits. The Newfoundlanders do it. And she's on a dais like I am, and she's in front of her are 3 steel vats with 3,000 pounds of warm biscuit dough being whirled by giant blenders. And there's a guy on the stage with a white coat, and the machine is pressing the button to stir the biscuit dough. And she's on the stage. She walks over to where he is, and I can't do the accent, but she looks up and she says, "And what are you making, sir?" Long pause, and he says, $13.50 an hour, ma'am. Yeah. Let me wrap it up in 2 sentences. You're involved in a core and a central industry. It is not appreciated. It is more often put down than it is supported. The core industries that built this country are the only ones now that are in the shadow and the shade. And if we want to maintain the structure and prosperity that we have got to revert to some very sensible thinking about using the resources that Providence or God has given this country. Thanks for your patience.